and welcome to Crafty Ladybugs. Today's tutorial is going to be on the elephant head charm. The elephants that I have demonstrated here today are in dark gray and pink. I also use a few seed beads or small pearl beads for the eyes. The other one I have here is light gray and pink, once again with the small seed beads for the eyes, and we're going to be using white for the tusk. This can be placed on a pencil topper. You can change it into a bracelet or even get a little hook and change it into a key ring or a charm that you can use as a zipper pull on your coat. To begin today's tutorial, I have already strung my beads onto a band for the eyes. Today's tutorial I'm going to be using purple for the color of the elephant because purple shows up on camera for me. You can use any color of your choice. You will be needing two colors though. One for the main part of the elephant and one for the inside part of his ears. Today, as I said, we'll be using purple and pink. Before we begin, I wanted to let you know that we'll need 2 white, 14 purple, 14 for the inner color of the ear, which our color is going to be pink today. The color I'm using is pink. And 54 bands of the color of your choice for the outside portion of the ear, the face, and the trunk. So before I begin today's tutorial, I have already strung the beads onto the face, or onto the eye portion for the face. Now I'm just going to show you how we make the tusk. The tusks are made by stretching out a single band, and we're tying a knot into each end of this single band. Then we're going to need to flip the band over and tie another knot on the other end of the band. So stretch it over your finger, kind of hold it with your thumb. Go underneath between your band and your finger. Grab that little piece of the loop that's left on the other band and just pull through. And that'll add a little knot to each side of your band. We need to do that 2 times. So we're going to stretch out another band, tie it around our finger, go underneath between the bands and our finger, grab the small opening of the one side of the band and just tie a knot. Flip your band over, tie around your finger again, slide your hook under your finger, grab that little circle piece, and there we have a knot on the other end of our band. These will become the tusk of our elephant. Now we're going to begin with the ear. To loom this project, you're going to need the Rainbow Loom or your loom set in the standard offset position with the arrows pointing towards your body. I have already completed one ear off camera just to help speed things up for the video. So you will be needing to make 2 of these. So once you've completed the first ear, you'll need to pause the video, rewind, and watch that portion again to make your second ear. To begin with our ears, we're going to be taking the one single band, and we're going to take it on the second peg from the left and just dangle over the edge. That becomes my securing band at the end. I also call that a dangle band. Now for the rest of the ear, we're going to be using 2 double bands, or a set of double bands. So 2 bands are going to go from left peg 2 up to left peg 1, from left 1 over to center, from center to right 1. Then we just need to come down the right side twice. Once again, we're using double bands. Then we need to go from our right peg diagonal to center. Then we're going to go from center up 1 and from center over to the diagonal that we started on L number 2. L2 means left 2. Now we need to make a semi starburst pattern in the center of our elephant ear, and we'll be using one band to do this. Start from center, up 1, and we're just going to go around clockwise and form a starburst. Most of us are quite familiar with the starburst pattern, but if you're not, and I'm going too fast for you, just simply pause and replay the video. Everything's basing from the center peg and working itself out into a diagonal. I need to place a cat band here in the center, and what I'm doing is going to take and wrap the band around the hook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That becomes a 4-time cat band. If you're not comfortable with that technique, feel free to do it any way you wish, but you want to make sure that it's a 4-time cat band. The next thing I need to do is to place a securing band right here. So I'm taking a single pink band, double twisting it, and placing it from the center over to the diagonal on the right. Now the fun begins and we can start to loom our piece. You want to reach into your center where we started our starburst, and you want to grab the band that's on the top and follow it over to the peg that it came from. We should now be working in a counterclockwise position. You want to make sure that your center cat band does not fall off, and that you're only grabbing the bands and pulling them towards the peg that they came from. And when you get to this last couple bands, it is a little awkward movement, and you have to pull your hook down. Now, to begin the looming process of the outer portion of the ear, we're going to start at L2, left 2, and we're going to work our way back around the elephant's ear. So we're going to reach into what now is the pink bands that kind of serve as a cat band. You don't want to pull them into it. Grab your 2 purple bands, hold on to those pink ones so that they don't come up with your purple, and you're going to come over to the center peg. The next movement is very awkward. I want to warn you in advance, but you want to reach into that center peg, grab the bottom 2 purple bands, or the outer ear of your choice, pull them up through, being careful that you don't have any extras in there with you. Pull it up through, and those 2 bands are going to come down to the appropriate peg. Now we reach into our last peg in the center, grab your bottom 2 bands, and these are going to go over to the right. Reach beyond all those on the right, grab your 2 bands, and we're going to come straight up, reach in on the right again, get your last 2 bands, come straight up to the right, reach in, and we're going to go to the center. A little tricky again on this one, making sure that you only grab your bottom 2 bands, and a little awkward movement again because we're going over to the left. Most people don't like that movement. And the last movement is going to be very awkward feeling for you because we need to grab from the top and pull down. So you want to make sure that you hold on to all those bands at the top, hook in your bottom 2, pull them out, and you don't want any of your top bands to slip off. When they come out, pull it down to your second left peg, where we began everything and where we're going to end everything. Now take your dangle band, place it on your index finger, and you want to grab through that L2, get that bottom band, slide it over the edge of your hook, and loop it off. And this is going to become our ear. When I pull things off of the loom, I use the end of my crochet hook. If you don't use this type of hook, you want to use a wooden skewer or a thin, sturdy instrument to slide in there and pull your bands off the loom. I don't like to just rip mine right off. I find that it's difficult to get things to go into place if I just sort of yank things right off. But here we have got a complete elephant ear. A little pulling and tugging. You can get your ear shaped very nicely. So we have one elephant ear done and complete, and you'll want to set that aside. As I said before, you want to pause the video here, go back and rewatch it so you can complete your second elephant ear, which I have already done in advance. Now we're going to move on to the main portion of the elephant. And for the main portion of the elephant, once again, I'm using purple as my color today. We're going to be placing 2 bands at the top diagonal, 2 bands from center to right, 2 bands down the middle. And I'm running out of bands, so I'm just getting my little supply going again. 2 bands coming down the right side. These are all double bands. 2 bands coming down the left side. And I'm going to complete off the center portion to begin with. So for the center portion, we need to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So for the center, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. Now that we have the center done, we're going to be doing something a little different here, and I need to add the ears before we begin to lay the rest of the bands. This is just what secures it in place better. So we're going to take one of our ears and we're going to place it everything directly over this peg. See the little area open of the starburst? The little portion that's open there is going to get placed on that L2 peg. And then you'll see that there's the dangle band is still here, the closing dangle band. You're going to stretch that across the other bands that we have, center and right. We're going to do the same thing with the other ear, just flipping it on the opposite side. Place our pink opening there, and we're going to stretch across the center and over to the left peg. That sort of makes the dangle bands become the horizontal bands for this area of the face. Excuse me. Now we can begin to loom the rest of our piece, and we're going to be coming down the right side with double bands, and we're going to come down again with double bands. Be a total of 4 coming down the right side, and finishing it off with a diagonal. Will be 4. I'm sorry, that's my left side. I don't know my left from my right today, so that was my left side I worked on first. And 4, or I'm sorry, 2 bands coming down 4 times. 2 bands 4 times. 1 underneath all the mess, 2, 3, 4. And across for the diagonal band. Then we need to cap off the end portion here with a 3-time cap band. So we're going to take 1 band and wrap it around here 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you need to do this whichever way you feel comfortable, just so that you get that 3-time cap band on there. A lot of us have different techniques. I'm not saying my way is the correct way or the best way for you, but a 3-time cap band needs to go there. Now we're going to lay the horizontals across the face, and then we're going to loom a portion of it and then come back and have to do a layer technique on it to finish out the trunk. So we want to take a single purple band, and this is going to be a little odd for you, but our tusk that we had before, you need to take each of your tusk and place one end on your hook. One of those open ends on your hook of each tusk. Just slide it right on your hook. And the second tusk, slide that right on your hook too. So here we have our little tusk with our little hooks on our hook. And we're going to take our single purple band and we're going to slide our tusk onto that single purple band. And we're going to take our purple band and we are going to place it across these bottom two pegs. Then you want to pull them over, and that's going to become our tusk that'll form when our trunk is in place. And we want to take the upper portion of the band and push it up into the triangle. So you're still forming a triangle here. You've just got the tusk on it. And then we need to take a single band and form another triangle above that. The next band is going to be one band double twisted, and that's going to form our horizontal bands for the next area. When we get to the piece with the ears, it's going to be a single band double twisted, going right over top of the ears. And there's going to be a lot of stuff going on that band right there, and it's going to be difficult when we get to looming it, but we will get through it. And you want to place your eyes on, and once again they're just going to go right across the ears, right up there. Take a moment, pause the video, make sure your horizontal bands look similar to mine. Okay, and now we're going to begin looming until we get to our layer portion. So I want to begin looming by reaching into my center peg, going behind that 3-time cap band, and grabbing my top two bands, which are going off to the right, the diagonals off to the right. Reach into that cap band again, grab the next top two, and these are going off to the left. You don't want your little tusk pieces to get lost in there, so you just kind of want to get them out of the way when you can. Now we're going to reach into the center band again, center cap band, and we're going to go straight forward up the center one time. We need to reach into our left, grab the bottom two, and come up one more set of bands. Reach into our right, come up, and this is where we're going to stop. So we need to stop right here, push all of your stuff down really nice and tightly, and now we're going to begin our layering technique for the trunk area. So for the trunk area, you're going to want to take a single band face color of your choice, and you're going to place it from your 4th left peg to the center in a diagonal coming down, 1, 2, 3, 4th left to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 center. We need to do the same thing on the opposite side, which is where you're going to take a single band again from right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to center 5. Now we're going to begin here on our center 5 peg, and you're going to be taking 3 of your face colored bands, and we're going to be placing those in the center area. So 3 of your face color bands are going to go from center 5 to center 6. And there, my little tusk just wants to get in the way again, so I'm just moving it out of the way. So that was 3 bands from center 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to center 6. Then we need to move on to 2 bands, 2 bands, and then it's going to be 1 band double twisted, 1 band double twisted, 1 band double twisted. And we're just laying that right down the center. 1 band double twisted. It's just making the trunk a little skinnier. 1 band double twisted. And now a 4-time cap band down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to take my hook and run it around the cap band once or twice, just run it around the circle, just to kind of make it a little bit more even. Makes things work out a little better in the end. Now we're going to loom our trunk up to the gathering point at the top of the head, and then we're going to finish off the top of the head. So we're just basic straightforward looming here, a single chain pretty much. So you reach into your 4-time cap band, and you're just going to loom straight ahead. And just keep looming straight ahead. It's okay if they don't stay on there all the way. And now I'm meeting the fuller bands, the whole bands. Okay, we're going to stop right here for a minute because we're getting into the messier portion of the loom. So you want to make sure that when you reach into this peg that you're only grabbing the 3 bands that you needed for that top layer. This is a 3 band. You want to make sure you don't grab through and get the bottom layer. So 3 bands forward. And now we want to reach in and grab 1 single band and take it off in the direction that it came, which is the right. Reach 1 single band in the direction that it came from off to the left. And now we need to reach into that center 5th peg, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we want to reach down and we want to grab not everything, but we want to grab through everything to get to the bottom 2 bands. So you want to push back everything except for those bottom 2 bands. We need to pull those out, be careful, and loop straight forward to the center. If you want to relieve some tension on this peg, just take your hook and run it around a couple times. But you'll see that those center 2 bands form that little teardrop shape. And now we want to go back over to the left side, reach in through the mess, grab the bottom 2 bands, and we're coming straight forward. Reach in beyond your cap band, grabbing the 2 bands, straight forward. Now we're to another messy spot. Take your ear and just pull it out of the way slightly. But you want to reach in through all of that. Make sure you're grabbing just your center or your bottom 2 bands. Gently pull it out and loom it straight forward. And we're going to finish off the left side by looming to the center. Then we're coming back down to the right. And if I'm going too fast for you, just simply pause the video to catch up. People work at all different kind of paces. Making sure when you do these that you're grabbing only the bottom 2 bands and you're pushing back those horizontals. I'm going to reach into here, beyond all the mess, and we only want those bottom 2 bands. So we're going to come straight forward. And I got too much on that one, so I'm going to simply place it back on there. I'm going to pull my ear back out. I think I grabbed the horizontal band when I did that, but I'm just simply placing the ear back on. And make sure I get my bottom 2 bands down and out of the way. So basically all I did was just, I unhooked everything from the madness up there. I'm going to turn my loom slightly so I can see a little better. But pull your ear out of the way, reach in beyond the cap bands, and make sure that you're only getting 2 bands. And come forward. 2 bands, finishing off the diagonal. And then we need to finish up the trunk center area. You want to make sure that we haven't lost any loops in here and make sure that everything is in a teardrop shape. And we haven't forgotten a loop, because if you forget during loop up, it's going to make the whole thing fall apart. You guys are going to be mad at me, but I told you to double check and make sure that everything was looped. Center. And now we have finished that part of the loom, and we're going to finish it off. I forgot to put my dangle band there, so I need to do it the old-fashioned way, which is reaching into that last peg. Pull your band through, slide it over the end of your hook, and do yourself a little slip knot. Now let's see how well I did, and we're going to take everything off the loom. Once again, lots of pressure on some of these bands, so I'm using my hook to pull them up off of the pegs. And you especially want to do that in the areas where there's lots of band buildup, because you don't want it to really stretch out too much. And then when I get to the area where there's two bands or one band double twisted, I like to do that too. So here we have our elephant, and truthfully this one doesn't need a whole lot of fiddling. So what I'm going to do is just simply pull the ears out a little bit, find my two eyes and poke them out. Just simply play with them till you get them to the point where you like them. And here is our purple elephant with our little tusk and our trunk. And you can adjust the trunk as you wish. You can have your curvature being lower down just by simply pulling and tugging on it a little bit. But here is our purple elephant. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. And I do want you guys just to notice the difference in bands. The gray elephant was made with Rainbow Loom's dark gray, and the purple was made with a generic purple band that I just found at a local craft store here. I couldn't even tell you the brand, but honestly there is a pretty big difference in size between the two. So what type of bands completely determines what size your elephant's going to be. It's the same technique and different, just done a little differently, but that's the difference in our elephants, is because of the size and the elasticity. I can't ever say that word, but how much elastic is in your bands. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and you'll watch other videos by me in the near future. Thanks.